Hello, I'm ready.
Yeah, it started already.
Give me like a cue or something.
Why?
You do this every time. You're just like,
Hello and welcome back to the Screen Zone podcast, the 20th episode of the podcast. Yes, we counted because it felt so long since the last episode, and we've been getting to some shorter episodes recently. I feel happy about that. I don't know how long this will go, but let's see. And today, it's a very special movie we're talking about. We're talking about Dune, directed by Denis Villeneuve, one of our favorite directors, both of our favorite directors. His last film was Blade Runner 2049, right? Which was what, 2019? No,
18 or 19, I think.
18, I think, maybe.
19, 19 with the 1917 one, no?
Because that was the my
I think
favorite
it was
film.
2018.
That was
Yeah.
my favorite film that year, and I mean, it's been I had no clue about Dune, as in I knew they were shooting the film, but I have never read the books. I have no exposure to the. I've never seen the old film.
Yeah, David Lynch wala bhi, like
Yeah,
even I haven't seen, so.
yeah, and I purposefully didn't watch that or read the book. I wanted to go into this with a fresh mind. So after watching this, of course, started downloading the books. I'm gonna start reading them soon. But
Hmm.
let's get into it with our quick thoughts. So, Madhav, first impressions, quick thoughts. It's been like a month since the movie released. So, how was that experience?
Yeah, so I saw it twice, luckily both times in IMAX, which pre-hand, if anyone has to see this movie, please watch it in IMAX. Do not watch it at home. At least the first time if you're watching it. This is like made for IMAX type
Yep.
movie. First time I saw it, fucking hated it. I didn't like it one bit. I was like
Wow.
sitting and bitching with my friends about it and
Acha.
bitching to people who liked it, arguing with them, and honestly, kind of winning those arguments. Okay, I don't know if those people are watching, but so
I don't know
yeah,
that.
I really, really hated it. Then a friend wanted to see it and she didn't want to go alone. So I was like, she's treating for it. So I was like, I will go. IMAX movie. So second time I saw it, I can't say that like I like it now or that I'm even on the fence. Given a choice, I wouldn't watch it. But my appreciation grew for it slightly more, I would say. That's not, again, that I feel like I really need to clarify. That's not saying I like this movie now. I still don't mostly, but we will get into why.
Sure. I saw the first time. Thank you, Warner Brothers, for letting me watch it early.
Oh yeah, you went for a screening, no? Jackass.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck you. Yeah.
Thank you, Warner Brothers, for inviting me to that screening. I put up my whole review on IGN. This was this was at the end of October, right? So this was just a couple of weeks before I left IGN. But yeah, that first screening was at IMAX, and the second time I also saw it. Yeah, second time I also saw it. Did I watch it the second time in theaters? I can't remember. I don't think I did. But my God, it's worth watching at IMAX, man. I mean, they've the only bad thing about it was I watched it it was in 3D, so it was IMAX, so that was a good part. But then it was in 3D, and it's a very lush, vibrant movie set in sand dunes and different planets, and you're watching on with dim.
I figured. Yeah, no, dim. And okay, so this is the first time I saw a 3D movie since I got glasses.
Oh, okay.
How do you do this?
That's a skill.
It is the most annoying shit ever.
Yeah, I know. That's a skill you pick up over the years.
3D glasses they're big and they're thick, and you have to put them over these glasses, and you're wearing a mask, so your glasses are already thoda niche, and you're by that time like the 3D glasses are on the tip of your nose. How are you watching at that? It is so fucking annoying. I took my glasses off. I couldn't deal.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I hate it. Like I used to like 3D. I used to be fine with 3D a few years back. I used to think, why are people complaining that much? But now I'm one of them.
Weirdly, I liked 3D when they played into the gimmick of 3D. When they would like advertise a 3D movie and then the like things will point at the screen and be like, pass me aa raha hai and shit like that. Now it's just 3D for the fucking sake of 3D. Just to say, we have 3D.
Now they just and 3D. Another reason is usually it costs a little bit more, the tickets. Either not so much, but in the US it's like $10 more or something. So like Dune was by no means meant for 3D. I mean,
which movie these days is fucking meant for
very
3D?
few movies, like very few.
I feel 3D is dead. It should die out.
It should die out. I mean, if you're gonna make it, make a movie make a movie while thinking about 3D. Don't just
Yeah.
post convert it because you can. Anyway, so yeah, I watched this movie, like it's been like a month now, so I've had a lot of time to think, to sit and think about it. And what I the first time I came out, I had a relatively positive experience. First of all, I love all the technical aspects. I absolutely love the filmmaking aspects, production design, acting, everything is soundtrack. Oh my god, the soundtrack in IMAX, it's all like 10 out of 10 perfect.
That's what I meant when I said it's like made for IMAX.
Yeah. The story, characters, all that stuff. Well, one, I haven't read the book, right? So before anyone says that, yeah, I know we're missing some context from the books for sure.
Yeah, because they're gonna get so much backlash now. So many people are watching this, and so many people are gonna comment.
So, but I mentioned this in my review that while I appreciate the story and everything, of course, all the technical stuff, I didn't particularly care. Like, I wasn't emotionally invested as much into Paul's story. So when things were happening, when people were getting betrayed, people were getting killed, Paul was going through all these emotions, I liked everything surrounding the story, but not the actual emotional investment I should have. So that's the one aspect I wish it was done better, because even in, say, like, I've loved Denis, all of his movies. I haven't seen maybe one or two of his movies, but everything else I've seen.
All of his movies. Amazing movie.
I haven't seen Incendies, and maybe one other I'm forgetting, but I've seen all of the recent ones. And like, it kind of reminded me, when I was writing my review, it kind of reminded me of Blade Runner 2049 in one aspect, where Blade Runner 2049's protagonist, K, right? He's a replicant. He doesn't have emotions. So anytime any big plot twist or any big change occurs, he doesn't really emote in a way a normal character does, a normal human does, except for maybe a couple of instances. It kind of reminded me of that, except here they are humans. They should be, I would say, probably emoting more, or probably externalizing some of their emotions, which didn't happen.
It didn't happen a lot.
Some of it, I guess, was lost in translation from the books, because, in the books you can have inner monologues and all. But even then, I should be invested in that story more.
Yeah.
So that was my one big negative. I guess that was also your big negative, right?
Yeah, that was the main thing, where I'm like, this story and this world just doesn't intrigue me. It didn't invest me. It didn't intrigue me. I didn't feel like, okay, I want part 2, because, I want to know more about what's going to happen, because I'm so interested. It's got to the point where I want part 2 just so that the story can be finished. I feel a lot of why I didn't like this movie is because it is incomplete so far, which is nobody's fault. I mean, like, Dune apparently is like this massive thing which you need 2 parts to cover.
Yeah, it's a huge saga.
It's like really grand and really epic, right? But yeah, that was the main thing. Okay, the technical aspects. Holy shit, dude! If the script and story was better, no, this would be like movie of the year, or something.
Absolutely.
Easily, like, because the way this guy has directed it is insane. Stuckman pointed out, this guy, he has this like way of showing this true scale of things
by putting like humans in reference,
something just a reference we have in foreground, and then putting like the massive thing in the background. Like, that's such a simple thing, but the way he does it, he uses it at perfect places. The cinematography is insanely good for such a, like, I wouldn't call this movie vibrant. I would just say it is bright. It is bright. It is kind of follows one color scheme, which is in kind of dull, but the way the movie shot, just like visually, it is. And Hans Zimmer at his most Dunkirk that he's ever been. all those elements, like they really do a good job, especially in IMAX, of like properly encapsulating you in it.
Yeah, the scale of the movie is massive, and
So,
this
physically you feel like you're in the movie.
yeah.
Emotionally, it's just like, why am I seeing these people? Okay,
Yeah.
I get that this is that sort of world where they don't express much or whatever. I get that that's part of the world.
Hmm.
That doesn't mean I necessarily need to be invested in it. I didn't, I was, and I still think a lot of it is just this movie being this story being incomplete.
Yeah.
Like when I think of characters, I remember the characters more because of the actors who played them, not because of their good characters. I
Yeah, same.
love Jason Momoa, I love Oscar Isaac, and I'm referring to them as their actor name because I can't fucking remember what their name is in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, same. uh but on the visual
Also,
side,
okay, fucking sorry, one sec. Way too much exposition.
yeah.
And now here's the thing: I get that Dune is like a really insanely imaginative world, and you need a lot of exposition to get the audience
Hmm.
comfortable, settled into this world. Okay, I get that. But when the exposition lasts throughout, like literally exposition of what's gonna happen in the scene, and then the scene happens. That is
Yeah.
a sort of formula I found in so many scenes. Be it the wormhole scene,
Yep.
be it the where that Fremen woman is describing the suits, how they retain water.
Mhm.
The like, I'll give you this tooth and you bite it and like you kill the guy and things like that. It's like exposition, and immediately after, what that exposition was for.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the most effective way to create intrigue in this world.
Yeah, I agree. The exposition part really, after the movie got over, after I started think about it, that really stood. Even during the movie, sometimes, especially the first half, those I like that concept of the film books, which are books, but they're kind of like projectors that Paul
Oh,
is
the
reading.
projector
Yeah,
exposition.
yeah, that was quite a lot, and then especially that scene when that woman explains how the suits work.
Hmm.
That, but back to the visual part,
Oh
the
man,
my god, the sound design. I mean, the soundtrack, sound score is one thing that's great. It's very
sound design is
otherworldly,
sharp as shit.
but my god, I mean, after Blade Runner, it's been very rare that after Blade Runner 2049, I've had that kind of a like otherworldly experience with the sound design, which
Mhm.
really enhances the visuals. But my god, the first time I noticed it, not noticed, but like I really kind of my ears picked up. Oh shit, this is something you should pay attention to. Is when Paul is talking to his mom, Rebecca Ferguson, and in the first scene when they're talking and
Where
she's
he
teaching
uses
him the ability, and he says the thing, "Give me the water," and you don't hear it for half a
and you
second.
don't hear it, and then it comes in.
You hear it on her reaction.
Cool. Yeah, that is so fucking cool. And
That
that's
was
a
a
great way of showing how the voice works.
Yeah, that was a great decision. The more I think about it, like that could have been an editorial decision. Also, it could have been that earlier it was just she said it and then she does the thing. But someone in the
Fuck.
edit could have said, you know what, let's place that sound after, just like 1 second after, just to
But
emphasize that.
but knowing Denny,
Yeah,
that was
he
probably planned.
probably planned.
Because he it is very apparent he is arguably the biggest fan of Dune that there is. I mean,
Yeah,
he's making two whole movies on it.
two, and he has been talking about potentially a third, because from the little I read on it, like reading on Wikipedia and all, because it's research. uh,
Yes.
so the story of Dune apparently is it's spread by different sagas. So the
Mm.
first saga is the Paul Atreides house saga, which is like two books or three books, I think, and then there's a time jump, and then another family some generations later. It's something like that, and Villeneuve wants to cover the first saga at the very least. So it could be two movies, but there's a chance for a third. And they're also working on a prequel based on the Bene Gesserit. So the so that's happening. I don't know the status of that right now, but when we saw this movie, right, when it released here, uh, they weren't sure about a sequel at that point. Warner Brothers was very tiptoeing around, we will, maybe won't, because of the whole stupid decisions they made. Sorry, WB, if anyone is watching, but I mean, come on, your higher ups made
Yeah.
some stupid mistakes. So it's good that he's getting a sequel, because just based on box office alone, in a normal world, this wouldn't be getting a sequel. Probably, but right now
Yeah.
it has had good legs. It's making quite a lot of money. I think more than any of his previous films.
Yeah, second one, the greenlit ho bhi gaya
Yeah,
na?
it's done. It's like second one is greenlit. They're gonna shoot it next year. I mean, they were kind of compelled after losing Nolan. You can't just say no. I mean,
After losing
uh,
Nolan and the fact that the title screen of this movie says Dune
part
Part
one.
1,
Yeah.
you know. So
Yeah.
I had such a hard time fucking getting invested in this.
Yeah.
Which is what sort of reduced the value of all the other elements which were amazing. And I totally get why they kind of mismarketed um like why they mismarketed Zendaya in this movie.
Yeah. You would think
She is
she is a
all through
very,
the trailers, and
yeah.
jitna her screen time is in the trailers, utna hi movie mein hai. And I think so much of it just stems from the fact that this is incomplete. It
Yeah.
almost feels wrong to talk about it because it is incomplete. I feel like we
Hmm.
need to wait. But at the same time, it's like when you see other movies that are split into two, be it Kill Bill 1, Deathly Hallows 1,
Hmm.
Gangs of Wasseypur 1, those, while yes, obviously they are incomplete, they are part 1, it is still an investing experience where you want to see the second part. You want to
Yeah.
know why this ended. Not just because you feel incomplete, because
Yeah.
you're curious in the next one. This feels like I just want to know what happens next so that this can be put into perspective. And I'm not just left feeling bored by this. Because,
Yeah.
oh my God, the first time I saw it, itna bore hua na main. I was so like, why is this not ending?
Hmm.
I felt the end is approaching and then the interval came.
Yeah. Same. I
To the
there
point
was
where
a
I know this may be disrespectful, but I saw it
yeah.
with a few friends. And in the interval, me and another friend, Varun,
Okay.
we were like, in the interval, we were so bored that we were kind of considering, if we leave in orbit now
Hmm.
and we go to Oberoi, we will be just in time for Halloween kills. And at
Wow.
that point, we were genuinely considering to the point where we kind of left the theater also.
I think in
And
our
then we were like,
screening,
yeah,
the interval probably happened slightly before it was supposed to, like maybe just by run time, because in the second half, right, when they get into the what's that name of the helicopter, the ornithopter or something, uh, when Paul and his mom are there in the helicopter, they're riding into the storm, and they
yeah,
crash land, and you feel like, okay, now Duncan's gonna approach and they're gonna be like, okay, we'll go into hiding or whatever. I felt like, yeah, now the ending is coming, but then something else happens,
yeah.
and
And then
even
something
after
else
Zendaya
keeps
comes in,
keeps happening.
and they're about to have that fight, right? We're like, okay, I challenge you, or if not, then you'll help us, that thing. Even that, ek to it felt anticlimactic,
Mhm.
like for an ending, when you realize, oh, that was the ending, like that was the
That
big
that
thing.
I'm fine with because it's still
Hmm.
part one of a story. But I agree, it could have felt more climactic.
Yeah, I mean, when you end a movie with "this is only the beginning," I mean, come on.
Yes,
That I knew she was gonna say
again,
that. I knew
it,
she was gonna say that.
yeah, obviously. And see, in any other movie, that would be like, this is obvious sequel bait. But here,
Yeah,
the sequel bait is like from the title screen.
yeah.
So, they didn't like lie to us or something by saying, ki, oh, this is part one only, okay? This is
Mm-hmm.
not the full movie. Now we'll make a second one. Pehle se hi this was conceptualized as
Yeah,
two parts, maybe three or whatever. So
yeah.
I'm
But
fine
even
with
then,
that.
like, see, so like they didn't shoot like two movies back to back. Like they shot
Yeah,
this as
yeah,
one
I was
movie.
just about to say that. The
Hmm.
second one got greenlit only because this one did well, which makes me think, why is part one in the title of this?
I think that was like
If
partly.
if this didn't do well, this would just be a piece of shit movie.
Yeah. I mean, if so, it got greenlit for two reasons. One, it's been doing well now,
Mm.
but when it released, there were major concerns. But second is because Warner Brothers just didn't want to lose Villeneuve, and like it was a negotiation tactic. Simple
Yeah,
as
you're
that.
right.
It's real.
After they lost Nolan, it's like
Yeah,
they have to hold on to everything they
they
can
have
get.
to. So
Um,
I think even the part one must have been like, "Man nahi dalega," but after all that scandal happened, then he's like, "Put that in there."
put that fucking in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now though I get everything I want, huh, bitches.
Huh. But
um,
it's I'm happy that their sequel is happening because it would be a much worse case if it
it
wasn't,
would.
and this is
Oh
it.
my god, yes, the
It would be
sequel
really
is
bad.
needed. Holy shit, the sequel is needed. My god.
And for a
Um,
sequel, now that we know all the rules, mostly all the rules of the universe, who the houses are, what the history is, focus more on the characters and the
Please, oh
story.
my God, yes. I was like, you know what? If this wants to be an exposition movie, just so that the next movie can be a full on payoff movie,
Yeah.
that's still fine. If the payoff is good and then you can see kind of the bigger picture of it,
Hmm.
fine, understandable. But if the second one, it's going to turn out like this in terms of structure
Yeah.
and whatever, bro, I don't know what is going to save Dune. Also, this was so I don't know, after first time I saw it, I was like just describing this as Star Wars Phantom Menace, but boring,
Hmm.
which is basically Phantom Menace. But at least Phantom Menace had, the pod race and
I'll
Darth
try
Maul
spinning.
being
That's a
badass.
good trick.
Exactly. Like legit the
My
with
God,
the
I
scene
hate
you
that
just said no
movie.
where they're flying Phantom Menace, no, obviously.
Yeah, I hate. My
But
God.
that scene you said no where they're flying into the storm or
Uh-huh.
whatever. That is such a use the force Luke moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
From the first Star Wars, it's
Yeah,
like mm,
that was. I mean,
and just another thing, ki how everyone else has like these otherworldly names,
hmm.
you know, and our main character's name is Paul, whereas in everywhere else there's Darth Vader, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Princess Leia, and here we have Luke.
Luke.
I could just not fucking like notice the similarity, like not notice the similarities. And I
Yeah.
know that there will be similarities because
Hmm.
if you see Harry Potter's story, if you see Lord of the Rings, all these fantasy movies, they follow that
Yeah,
similar structure. But this was a little too close to home.
yeah.
Um,
I was really like, ek to, yeah, the technical aspect, the world building is all great. But then later, when I started reading more about the source material, the novel
mhm.
came out in 1965. It came out
Yeah, man,
before.
it's like the father of all sci-fi in
Yeah,
media,
yeah.
no?
And you can see elements of all of the stuff that has come later, like Star Wars, you get bit of that. Game of Thrones, you get a bit of that with the different
With the
houses and
politics
all.
and yeah.
The Chosen One story, of course, that's there. Uh, uh, e- so I mean that's really respectable. That I have like, and the fact that because from what I have heard from everyone that yeah, the first book or so, it's you can adapt it if you try a little hard. But as the sequels pile on with the books, it gets way more abstract, is what I've heard. So I think that's also one of the reasons. I think Denny also might have said that yeah, the first couple of books I'm gonna adapt, but uske baad ka thoda mushkil ho sakta hai. I haven't
Mm.
read it, so I have no clue. But even from the biggest hardcore fans, all the other reviews I've seen, everyone has said that yeah, good luck trying to adapt the like book 3 or book 4, because that stuff gets way more crazy. So that's why I want to read it. I am really interested in reading the whole thing now.
I'm just not that interested in reading in general, so I don't want to. But
Dude, uh, I saw
uh,
this movie and I went back to my hometown, right? And I have a whole uh, like क्या बोलते हैं stack, or what do you call it? Case of like old YA novels. Like पूरा एक rack है. I have Harry Potter, Percy Jackson, Artemis Fowl. I have
hmm,
Heroes of Olympus, also really good. Percy Jackson fans should
yeah,
read
I
that if
remember
you
those.
haven't.
Yeah.
But I have all of that. So that was the last time. That was in like high school. That was the last time I actually sat down and read like a novel or a series of novels. My God. So I'm happy that this is getting me interested into reading something once again, of a similar, if a little more mature thing.
Hmm.
Um, that was mostly it. We talked more about the themes and the story, because there's not much I can say about the characters as such. It's like when Oscar Isaac's big scene happens, right? When he sacrifices himself. I
Hmm.
wasn't shocked or anything because of the, oh my god, this character it's a pivotal character, he's going away. I was like,
Yeah,
oh, Oscar Isaac khatam, oh, that's a big deal. I was,
exactly.
yeah, so I was intrigued.
And
I was
a lot of the themes I felt are like, things that we have seen before 100 times. Like,
yeah.
oh, this guy doesn't want responsibility, but uspe aa raha hai.
Hmm.
Jon Snow. Uh, things like, oh, he's the chosen one. Literally every other fantasy.
Every fantasy story.
Uh, things like all this politics, like you said, Game of Thrones.
Hmm.
Star Wars, to hey, fucking desert planet and all also, and space travel. It I wouldn't say it like relies on other things being known, uh, but yeah, it just feels like, yeah, it is adapting one of the first pieces of sci-fi ever to be written.
Mhm.
But considering the time period now, this is all stuff that has been done so many times.
Yeah.
So it just feels a little bit old.
Yeah, it
I'm
does.
like, yeah, if you want to adapt the book, fine. Add something to it. Maybe give a reason you're adapting it, other than just you are a big fan.
Yeah,
Because if you follow that logic, then it's just you're making Transformers again.
oh
That is
boy.
gonna be so insulting to like fans of this movie, no?
ये तो मतलब अब तो dislike button भी नहीं दिख रहा ना, so you just kind of say that.
Yeah.
Apparently you can see, so I have YouTube Premium. I can see dislike buttons on some videos, or like the dislike counter.
Oh, you mean the dislike? Yeah.
Huh.
I can see the dislike button so far. I know
Huh.
because I have disliked many videos. That's all I do in my free time.
You made a Google account just for that.
Just for that, I bought YouTube Premium just so I can dislike stuff.
Or you can dislike it faster. You don't have to go through the ads.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I mean, I don't think there is much you can say about this movie other than what we have already said before watching the second one. I think that's still a bit unfair still.
Yeah, we definitely need to see the complete
See the
story,
second
because
one. And then
that will put this in context.
Then I will, yeah. If the second one is shit, then I will bitch to my heart's content.
Oh yeah,
and
absolutely. Even I'll join you.
Be a massively entertaining episode.
That will be in season 4 of the Screen Zone podcast.
Oh wow, this thing fell off. Oh shit, I didn't even notice.
Did you write there?
I wrote
I never
friendly
read it.
bet. Friendly bet. Dune 2 comes out before our next episode.
Oh god. Shit.
Hits right in the fields, doesn't it? So yeah, I don't think I have any other thoughts till like Dune 2 comes out.
Yeah, I don't have anything else. I mean, for a deeper dive into my thoughts and opinions, you can just read the review. I'll link it below. Also, by the way, the screenzone.com has been rebuilt. It looks and reads much nicer now.
Yes, so all those hundreds and thousands of visitors that we had, they can come back now.
They can come back and read about Batman and Robin and which ones did you write? Team America.
I remember writing Team America, I Lost My Body.
Yeah.
Paul, Game Night, Your Name. Yeah, I wrote a few.
Yeah, I had to manually import all of them because like we changed from WordPress. We were on WordPress before. So the new thing I had to like manually copy paste.
Oh, lovely.
Nice. But on the site, I've put up my thoughts on Shang-Chi. We didn't talk about that. Maybe we will in future. But because all these movies came out within like just
I think
together.
we should just do, one day we should just do a marathon thing of Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That will be a good thing, like set up for No Way Home.
Eternals, I have a lot of thoughts. Very
I
mixed
also have a
thoughts.
lot of
Very
thoughts.
mixed and largely negative. Shank,
Oh, this will be interesting then.
अच्छा
Because
तेरा
I
opposite हुआ.
liked something and you didn't.
Yeah,
I
that'll be fun. Shang-Chi I liked. Shang-Chi, I think it was the
fucking
first
loved
film.
Shang-Chi. I loved
Yeah,
Shang-Chi so much.
yeah.
Amazing.
Shang-Chi, just to like change gears before closing out.
Hmm.
Shang-Chi, obviously, we all heard so much praise before it. Theaters are closed here, right? So it released here like all in Maharashtra almost a month after its official release.
Yeah.
So when I finally saw it, ek to like it, like I saw it, and then just a week later it came out on Hotstar. Right, but no way am I gonna watch that like first time Marvel movie on the small screen. No way. So थिएटर पे
Unless
देखा.
it's Black Widow.
Mm, eh.
We'll get to that, yeah.
So Shang-Chi, uh, I like the first half a little bit more than the second half. Second half is more goes more into fantasy. When I
Hmm.
didn't expect that at all. Take when I was watching the movie, I didn't expect it to go full Dragon Ball in the second half. So so when they so when it did happen, I was a little not disappointed, but okay. But then when I saw it again, when it came out on streaming, I've come to like I already liked it. I like it even more now. Every time I open Hotstar, I just go to that bus fight. My God, that bus
Yeah,
fight is
yeah. Oh my
amazing.
God, the bus fight. They did such a good job marketing that the most
Yeah,
because that might be the best fight scene. That and the
yeah.
scaffolding. Wala. Um, but yeah, I loved Shang-Chi up till like maybe the last 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I felt it went too much DC CGI, Marvel CGI fight.
Yeah.
But other than that, I fucking love it. We should do like a marathon episode on
Oh
Black
yeah,
Widow,
yeah.
Shang-Chi, and
Absolutely.
Eternals.
We should.
That'll be a good this thing.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah, I think that's it.
yeah, that was about it. Thank you for watching another short episode. Wow, 31 minutes. That's a big
The fuck?
for a Denis Villeneuve
I
movie.
really, again, like I
My
said,
God.
incomplete, so it doesn't feel right to like go in
Yeah.
on it fully. Um, Dune to आने दे, वो must like 2.5 घंटे का episode होगा.
Yeah. So thank you for watching and listening. Go to the site, check out some of our older articles. They really are good articles. I'm not just like some. We have a fun segment called "So Bad It's Good," where Madhav and another friend of ours, Dhon, they kind of slap movies around, but also appreciate them in that segment. So
Yeah,
read some of
it's
that
more of
stuff.
a seeing movies that are so horribly bad. It's like
You
it
can't help
turns
but
around.
appreciate it in some
Yeah,
ways.
it comes around to become entertaining again. It's not
Yeah,
just bad where you're sitting like, why the fuck am I watching this? It's entertainingly bad. So yeah, check it out. We should like try filling up that section more.
sure. Okay,
Yeah.
that was it. Thank you. Bye bye.